Good day, and welcome to Mike's Diabetes World. I'm Mike, obviously, who named the channel someone else's Diabetes World. Anyway, this website is meant to take you along on my struggles with my blood sugars and what differs between the average diabetic and a brittle diabetic. Sorry, my nose is itchy. Type 1 diabetes is what most people think of diabetes. It is where your pancreas, for whatever reason, has stopped working and you need to take shots. There is no mystery cure as of yet for type 1 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes, people have had success in losing weight, and that cuts down their demand for insulin. But I digress. Let's get on to today's topic. Today, I want to talk about bad influencers and good influencers. Now, first of all, anyone who offers advice that seems too good to be true often is. And I would suggest that you get in contact with your physician or doctor or diabetic nurse and find out what will work and how to do it. I've heard things like, if you only eat these certain foods, your diabetes will disappear. Well, again, anything that talks about certain types of foods probably isn't the best for your metabolism, or it probably won't cure diabetes. Curing diabetes has had many people at stump for years. Type 1 diabetics will always be on insulin. Type 2 diabetics, well, sometimes they get better results with insulin. So that's really the two big difference. So when you hear people talking about, you shouldn't have these foods, and I'm talking about average everyday foods. You shouldn't have carrots because carrots cause blood sugar problems. Well, carrots will rise your blood sugar, but they're not going to make your blood sugar worse. It's how you respond to your blood sugars. And I mentioned in yesterday's video, it's the 2nd of July today, by the way, is that you need to come up with a game plan. We're all great in knowing what a diabetic should do on days where everything's going right. It's on days where you may have one day where you're high blood sugar and there's no apparent reason for it. But don't be too quick to judge and say, I've got to do this and I've got to do that. Wait to see what will come of this. Now, there are an awful lot of people who are on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, forgot there, and have a great idea on what things have to happen. So don't follow the diabetic as preached to you. You can get it clarified by your doctor or your healthcare professional. Don't just sit there and say, I can do things on my own. I'm not going to take insulin. Being a type 1 diabetic, if you don't take your insulin, you're going to end up in trouble. And people will like you to believe that if you follow their program, you're going to get cured. And whether you're a type 1 or liable or liberal diabetic, you're not going to get cured overnight. You may find things that work for you that could lower your insulin, but just don't take it on. Oh, so-and-so on YouTube said this, and I'm going to follow that protocol. You're going to run into problems. You're going to end up back in the hospital. And being in the hospital is no fun for anyone at any time. But the one thing I would say to you, and I've said this a couple of times on here, is one, come up with a game plan. Discuss it with your doctor. What do you do if you start showing large ketones? What shouldn't you do? And write it down. Have a plan where you can easily get access to it. You don't want to sit there feeling like crap and having, oh my God, what did my doctor say? Oh God, no. You want to be able to work on it and develop it. Second of all is, whether you are using the CareLink system with Medtronic or any other blood testing record program, or you sit there and you write it down on paper, get your blood sugars recorded. You'll start to see trends. Now, people have asked me, what do I use? I use the CareLink system, which comes with my pump. And for me, that seems to be the best. You don't want to use programs that are used like for other diseases. If you're going to write it down on a piece of paper, make a simple table and put it in there. Don't use a blood pressure book. You can get off Amazon. You can get record-keeping books. But do something and keep yourself under control. And chances are you will see yourself starting to edge up and get higher blood sugars before it gets you into trouble. Diabetes is something you don't want to play with. I guess I'm sort of off on one side here. Just one sec. There we go. Now, over the years, people have thought, oh, well, so my grandmother had diabetes and she didn't really have a problem with it. Well, that's great for your grandmother, but everybody is different. Everybody's treatment plan is different. Just because you have another friend, relative who has diabetes and they've been doing this and it's worked great for them, get it checked out. I can't go over this enough. When I talked with my diabetes nurse and I said, well, what about doing this? We discuss it before we implement anything. And a lot of times I'm way off in left field, but that allows me to get clearance on what could work and what won't work. And a lot of times it's been stuff we've tried before and I've simply forgotten about it. So do your best. I think a lot of times growing up, and if you have kids that are a diabetic type 1, I can remember growing up with type 1 diabetes and being told, oh, well, you've got to stop cheating. Well, I never really cheated that much. I kept feeling low all the time, and I would take sugar to increase it. I ended up at probably not the best job for a type 1 diabetic. I ended up working nights at a convenience store. Looking back on it now, I probably shouldn't have taken that job, but I did. At one time, I had a whole binder set up for diabetes. And ever since CareLink, I started using CareLink, it's kind of gone by the wayside. But in it, I had emergency protocols, what to do. I had plans of when I went low and tried different types of sugars because my body took so long to recuperate from a low. And it's still kind of true today. I will have a low blood sugar and I will take the sugar, and the guidelines for most diabetics have been told this is to, if you feel low, test your blood sugar. Can't argue with that. Next is take 15 grams of carbohydrate if you are lower. Wait 15 minutes and test again. Though with me, I can drop so quickly that I need to have a game plan and know exactly what it is. And I get care help. In the later part of my life, I have developed what's called brittle. I'm hypoglycemic unaware, which means I don't know when I'm going to have a low blood sugar, when it's coming on, and sometimes it'll just be, oh, I'll test right now. If I start feeling like a low or start feeling funny, I kind of have to know I got a test or I'm dropping pretty quick. And can end up, being picked up by an ambulance if I'm out in the street or an ambulance coming here. If you are a brittle diabetic, you need to look into something like this. And this is my alarm system, that if I go low or I can't feel like I can't get myself out of problems, I will press it and it will ring. And I would suggest you come up with your own plans or come up with something like this. With me, the greatest thing is it's called fall alert. And with the fall alert, if I fall out of bed, it will activate automatically. And the good thing about this is in lower mainland of BC, where I currently am, my health region operates the button system for this. So if my blood sugar is low, I fall out of bed, it registers, they can't get a hold of me, they've tried calling, and if they can't get a hold of me, they will send an ambulance. And the ambulance will try to keep getting a hold of you. But the biggest thing I wanted you to take away from this message is don't follow what everyone else is saying to you about, oh, you got to do this treatment because it works. I've had many people email me all these plans for diabetics and how to better control your blood sugars, having this route or that route, or many other things that will keep your blood sugars under control, and you'll be amazed how great this is. And a lot of them I've taken to the doctor, my diabetic nurse, and I've said, well, what about these? And they said, stay away from it. A lot of times people will try to get you to take care of your feet. Right now, all the rage is where you shave off all your dead skin, and a lot of people are trying this. For a diabetic, don't be stupid. Get help. Go to your podiatrist. Go to a nail clipping nurse. But don't just go off and start doing things on your own. Have a plan. Discuss that plan. Get feedback on your plan. Anyway, that's all I really wanted to talk about today. Have a super day, and I'll be back shortly.